the fights are in downtown Phoenix, so we had to call you up, get a conversation in, catch up on things. But it's off to a bad start because initially we were going to do a little bit of it in Lambo, but you couldn't get the Lambo out here.
Funny story. No, I won't get it too into it, but you know how it's a two-seater, right? So I had an extra person in the passenger seat, and they were doing their thing, and you know, one of the girls hit something that they shouldn't hit when you're driving in the hub lane. That's probably why. I f***ed it up. So yeah, I should have had it. It's been in the shop longer than I even had it. I guess you live and you learn, right?
Were you like actually broken down on the highway?
No, it has manual. I put it in a manual and can drive it home, but yeah, I don't really know what the happened, but it definitely got messed up.
How long did you have the Lambo before you f***ed it up?
Probably 3 weeks. It's been in the shop. They've been it's been in the shop longer than in my garage, but it's got wrapped at the same time as the shop. So when I get it back, it's gonna be basically like a brand new Lambo. It's gonna be sweet. I'm excited. Is
it gonna result in a lot of speeding tickets for you, or
I don't think
not?
so. I speed in the Tesla way more than the Lambo for sure. The Tesla is because you don't hear it. So you can be going 100 and it just feels like you're going like 60. In the Lambo, you kind of feel it. You feel every little bump, everything. So definitely speed in the Tesla a lot more.
Is that like a toy that you always wanted to like reward yourself with at some point, or is this like an impulse buy?
Kind of both. I mean, I feel like everyone wants some kind of, like, Lambos to me are just, they're so beautiful. Like, I love when I get in my garage and just sitting in there. It's so nice. And a little bit of an impulse buy. People keep throwing money at me. I don't know what to do with it.
Well, I was gonna say, like, sugar business has to be going well if you're buying a Lambo.
Yeah. My mom growing up was so stingy with money to the point where it was like definitely over. Like it probably wasn't healthy, but I learned a lot from that, and I'm very smart with my money. But I did get a Lambo, yes. But I'm not gonna get a Lambo if I have like $500,000. I'm not gonna go buy a Lambo. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I have money to be able to do stuff like that. I've invested a lot of money. I have multiple properties. I just bought some more land.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it right.
I feel like you're really good at being like entrepreneurial too. Like do you is it almost kind of crazy like that you're seeing the different avenues of how to make money just being who you are and like monetizing yourself?
Yeah, I've been doing that since I was an amateur. You know, they give you $5 per ticket you sell. I'd be out on the streets selling tickets, selling $20 t-shirts. Like, I've been doing that since I was an amateur.
Yeah.
So now it's just, I think it's happening naturally, but yeah, I've been doing this for a long time. Now it's just at a bigger level.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was perfect timing to catch up with you because of the fact that we're in Phoenix and our fight's here, but then your fight just got agreed to.
Yep.
Pedro Munhoz. How did we arrive at Pedro Munhoz? I mean, a lot of people obviously have been kind of calling for this moment. You fighting a guy who's, who they consider to be more legit.
Yeah.
How did it arrive at Pedro?
I mean, I think Pedro's number 9 or 8 or whatever. I think he's top 10. Paiva, when I beat him, he was ranked number 15 like 2 weeks before I beat him.
Yeah.
So naturally, go up a couple. Pedro's next. That's who they offered me. I think it makes sense. It's a top 10 opponent. Pedro's if you look at his record, he has fought some of the best bantamweights. I mean, the last Dominic Cruz, Frankie Edgar, Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
He finished Rob Font. Some people can't. He did. I personally think I'd finish Rob Font.
Yeah.
But Rob's tough.
What's been the reaction to like this moment of you finally are facing a ranked guy? Are they happy with it? Are the fans who have been complaining for a while about your lack of competition? Are they happy finally?
I go out there and knock out Khabib, and people would not be happy about it. People would be saying, yeah, but Khabib's Russian. The people just make it up. It doesn't matter who I fight. It doesn't matter who I beat. People are always going to be saying, yeah, but. So it doesn't really matter. I think once this fight 100% gets confirmed, you're gonna see, oh, this is a great fight for O'Malley. Oh, this is a real challenge. Pedro's gonna try to kick his legs. It's the same shit every fight.
Yeah.
People are happy. People are mad.
Does this one feel different to you though?
Yeah.
Say everyone can say what they want, but this one's new to you.
Yeah. The way I look at it, like if Pedro and Paiva fought, I think it'd be a good fight. I think it'd be an interesting fight. I do think Pedro's a step up above Paiva, and and I put Paiva's lights out in under 5 minutes. So I don't think Pedro's ever been finished. I don't think he's ever been finished in his career, which is obviously I go out there and try to finish. Some people like to rock decisions. I like to go out there, put people's lights out. If I get him hurt, I'm going to try to put his lights out. That's what I do every single fight, and I'm going to go in there. I always go in there ready to go for the 15 minutes. Pedro is super tough, durable, so I'm ready. I'm going to be ready for 15 minutes. I ain't ready right now. We got 8 weeks, but I will be ready July 2nd to fight for 15 minutes. Of course, I'm going to look for the opportunity to put his lights out. I wouldn't mind choking him too. I know he's a black belt. I know he's got a good guillotine. I know he's a good grappler.
Yep.
I haven't been tested in the grappling department really. I mean, in the last 4 years, really, I haven't grappled inside the octagon. A lot of people are, want to see how that looks for me, including myself. I know where my grappling level's at. I train with really good guys.
Yeah.
I know how good I am at grappling. So, if it goes there, it goes there.
Like some guys, when they're having like this, step up in competition. Every guy kind of talks about it differently, and who knows, like if they're telling the truth or not. But I hear, some guys say that like they acknowledge it. We're like, yeah, like I don't know, like I don't have the experience that this guy has. Like I might see something in there, I might feel something in there that I haven't felt before. Like, is there any of that like kind of like feeling like that for you? Of like, hey, this is like just kind of this is a new animal. This is a different test than I have faced so far.
Kind of. I mean, like. His game plan is going to be the same as everyone's. Put me up against the cage, try to take me down, kick my legs. It's going to be the same game plan as everyone. I train with killers. I'm going to be prepared. And if anything, really, Pedro's the one that's going to be like, damn, I'm going against someone I've never... I feel like I'm a hybrid between like a Dominic Cruz kind of style, but with just clean boxing. And we seen what Dominic just beat him. I actually haven't even watched that fight because they were on the prelims, and I fight on the main card.
Yeah.
So I wasn't actually watching that fight. I have to go back and watch it. But Dominic just beat him. I'm a better version of Dominic, so it's like, we'll see what I do to Pedro. You
feel like this is kind of a new chapter of your career? Like you beat this guy, then you are in the top 10, and then it's killers every single time. It's like you kind of feel like you're embarking on something that's a little different, a new chapter in your career.
Yeah, kind of. I really. I thought that going in that fight, Rob versus Chito, I didn't know. That's kind of who I wanted the winner of. I don't know if the timing is going to work out. I thought Rob might win. I really wasn't sure about how that fight played out. After the Chito fight, everyone's like, oh, you need a rematch. I'm like, he doesn't deserve a rematch. I already beat his ass once, and he needs to earn it. So lately, I feel like he has earned it. He did lose to Aldo. He basically lost to Frankie. He lost 13 minutes of the fight to Frankie. Beat Frankie. And then just beat Rob. So I feel like he's earned a rematch. I think I go out there, finish Pedro. I think that's a big fight. And he's earned his rematch. So I do think that'll happen. Either whether it's next, obviously I have to get through Pedro. I'm not going to overlook him. These next 8 weeks are going to be dedicated to knocking out Pedro. So, but yeah, I think after I beat Pedro, it's all killer. I mean, even Pedro's a killer. It's killers from here on out.
Yeah. What do you think of Chito's performance?
People are gonna think I'm a hater or he lost to Aldo. He basically lost to Frankie, in my opinion. I mean, he was losing on the card. He lost to Frankie. Throws a little kick, lands it. And then he goes. His performance against Rob was impressive. We all know he's durable. He's definitely improving in his skills when you watch him from fight to fight. I don't really feel like it's a rematch. I don't think our fight really got to play out at all. He threw a kick that he hasn't thrown again. He hasn't kicked anyone's nerve again. I don't know why he hasn't been doing that. But so I feel like our fight didn't get to play out to where it's like a rematch. I feel like if we fight, it's gonna be a first time we fight. Mm-hmm. But I think he is improving. He's obviously improving each performance. I don't look at him as super. He's just durable. He's got good skills and he's getting better, but he's just durable. He's just stupid tough.
Really?
And that's dangerous.
Because those hook kicks that he was dropping Rob with, like those don't impress you.
The one hook kick, I mean that's like a weird little. Yeah, I mean that. I don't know. I was actually gaming. I thought he spun. I just seen the kick today because I was gaming, like looking over. I was streaming.
Yeah.
And I looked over. I thought he spun and kicked him, but he just threw a little hook kick Yeah, I mean, Rob was pretty hurt already. How did he not finish him? He dropped him, what, 3 times?
3 times. He kind of got saved by the bell in a couple different rounds.
I don't know. I mean, it was an impressive performance. Rob's a tough, he's a good competitor, a good boxer. It was a good performance. It was his first time going 5 rounds. I still haven't went 5 rounds. So yeah, it was an impressive victory. And I think Chito's done everything that he's needed to deserve a rematch against me.
Yeah, and I have always thought, like just personally, that it was a bummer that your guys' fight really didn't get going, because I think the UFC did make that fight for a reason, that it could be fun. I mean, with his style, his kicking style, his kind of like length, and the way that you fight and you're in and out and you're changing up distances, like, do you see it that way too? That like he's a good dance partner? Do you feel that about him?
I didn't get to watch the first couple rounds of that fight, and I need to go back and rewatch it. But when I was on the headset, the people I was playing with was like, oh, Rob's kind of piecing him up, like in the first, I think, round or 2. Yeah. Like Rob was kind of piecing him up. That's what they were saying. I haven't watched it. If Rob can piece him up for those first couple rounds, like, I'm different. And I prove that. I'm not just saying that, and people need to, they can go watch my fights. I put people's lights out. I'm hard to hit, and, I believe I'm a different animal that he's never faced, and I truly believe I can beat Chito, so. I'm excited that he grew enough to where that fight makes sense.
A fight that you were really, really excited about in your career at some time was Petr Yan.
Oh, yeah.
After what happened and Aljamain beating him, did your thoughts change on that at all? Or were you disappointed that he lost? Like, what did you think of Yan?
I wasn't surprised. I had Aljo. I think a lot of people were counting Aljo out. And in my eyes, I'm like, dude, Aljo's like, he's not going to be the same Aljo that fought Peter the first time. He's going to know he can't come out there and be a spaz. Aljo's, high-level grappler, awkward. He's, like, not a great striker, but he is a great striker because it's MMA. You know what I mean? Like, it works for him. So Aljo's, and I knew that was going to be a tough fight. But, yeah, I still love to fight Peter someday because I know it's going to be a sweet kickboxing match. Yeah. I know it's not going to be like, I'm going to try to grab a hold of you and hold you as hard as I can. Like, it's going to be a sweet kickboxing match. So yeah, I think that fight, I seen Peter asking for the Chito fight. I think that's an interesting fight. I'd be interested in seeing that. If that happens, Chito happens, in the next couple months. I'm fighting July 2nd. If they get something booked in September, October, whatever. Yeah. Like maybe it's a winner of that. I go out there and put Pedro's lights out. I can, fight whoever I want. I'm going to pick who I want next. Because I put on the level of performances. Yeah. And how do you see it going? Just in terms of like, well, first off, you had once said, do a walk and selfie real quick.
My nephew, hold up.
Oh, you don't even got it ready, champ? Come on.
Yeah, Sugar Show. You know how to rockin', man.
There you go, champ.
A lot of gang shit. Appreciate that, bro.
Yep, have a good one.
You had said one time that, like, of course, when you start fighting these ranked guys, you do want, and I think this was a fair request, that you want a contract that reflects that you were taking these risks, that you're fighting bigger guys, so you want to be paid appropriately for it. Has that happened?
Yeah, I mean, after my Eddie Wineland fight, I remember talking in the press or whatever, saying like, yo, I want to be paid more, and I realized, oh, it doesn't really work like that. They don't give a what you go out there and say. You have to go out there and earn it. I go out there and knock out Thomas Almeida, go out there and knock out Chris Medina, go out there and knock out Raulian Paiva. So I went out there and earned the contract that I have now. It's not, I personally, obviously everyone wants money. I believe I'm worth $1 million a fight, and I think, it's obviously ridiculous to ask if you look at what the UFC pays out right now, certified. I'm not going to get $1 million a fight. Yeah. But what I am going to make is, I'm happy enough with it right now. Yeah. The UFC is treating me well. I'm going to go out there and continue to perform for them and earn that $1 million a fight contract. Yeah. I got to go out and knock out Pedro, knock out Chito, knock out Peter, and then I get my $1 million contracts. I'm going to be in the UFC for a while, and I'm going to build up and earn that and be a good business partner.
Yeah, and that's kind of the key, right? Is like you said, a lot of you are one of many fighters that I think probably feel like they're worth more than what they're getting. Yeah. But it's kind of just like getting to a point with the UFC where you are on like a good ground, and then you feel like they do value you, like you feel like they have a long-term plan for you, and like that part of the relationship is good.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm making millions of dollars outside the UFC right now, because of the platform the UFC gives me. You know, I'm fighting. I'll probably fight 2 times this year, and I'm going to make millions of dollars outside the UFC because of the UFC, because I'm able to go out there and perform and do what I'm really good at, which is fighting. So it's just perspective. It depends how you look at it. I'm taking advantage of the platform by, you know, building my social media outside the UFC, and you know, that's how it works.
Yeah. Last thing, how about Henry coming back? You kind of called this in early 2021. The clip kind of got a lot of attention that he found his first girlfriend and they take over, but he'll be back. Yeah. What do you think of Henry coming back into the division?
I mean, I wouldn't say he's coming back. I think he needs to get a fight booked, you know, before we can say he's coming back. I'm not surprised. He's a competitor. He's been competing his entire life, and for him, he probably just needed a break. Like, people think I don't like Henry. I like him. He's a funny little dude. He's a world-class competitor. But I'm not saying I don't think he's back until he gets a fight booked. Once he gets a fight booked, I can't see him pulling out or not going through with it. So once he gets a fight booked, I'll believe he's back. You know, I think it adds to the division. I know he wanted to fight Volkanovski. Now he wants to fight Aljo. Who knows? I don't know. We'll see. What do you think about Henry? Who do you think he comes back and fights?
I mean, I always kind of thought that he would be back as well. Who does he fight? I mean, I could see him getting a title fight right
at 35,
away.
right?
Yeah.
Not 45?
Yeah.
I could see that too-ish. It's also like TJ deserves a title shot. You know, Peter's always going to be up there. Who else is a killer right now? Aldo deserves a title shot. I think there's people that, and having a good relationship with the UFC, whether it's right or wrong, I mean, it matters. Henry's not a huge draw. Yeah. And it doesn't seem like he has the best relationship with the UFC. Yeah. So maybe they don't give him a title shot. Maybe they say, here, go fight Aldo. Go fight some killer and earn your title shot back. Yeah. Rather than having like a great relationship with the UFC and be like, no, we want this guy he does good numbers, he does good business, he's a good business partner. Let's give him the title shot. Yeah. You gotta, I mean, it's part of being smart and part of being a businessman is knowing how to act outside the UFC.
Well, last thing I'll ask you is that, so the fight is what?
8 weeks.
Fight is 8 weeks away, and like you said, I mean, obviously you're very familiar now with getting to Vegas and fighting at T-Mobile, fans and everything, but like, you put on a show against Pedro Munhoz. I don't disagree with you that like, you're going to have a very large say in anybody you can fight. Like you said earlier, like I can fight whoever I want at that point if I put on the show. Yeah. Like how does that feel like 8 weeks before? Like are you just like know that's gonna happen, or you like thinking to yourself like you never know what's gonna happen in a fight, or like that like your career could change in 8 weeks? Yeah. Like how does it feel like today?
Today, I mean, I've planned on fighting July 2nd, probably 3 months out. So I've been training the last 4 weeks. I don't post a ton of training stuff, and I guess if you just looked at my Instagram, it's like, what is it? Train? Yeah. I think it's obvious I train. I go out there and each performance is better and better. But I've been training for the last 4 weeks, prepping for fight camp. You can't be in fight camp for too long because you get burnt out. So I'm just prepping for fight camp. Even these next 2 weeks, from 8 to 6 weeks, I do like a pre-camp, and I'll just get my routines in. I always hot tub, I always cold plunge, and I always stretch at night. I do that outside of camp. I think I have the best recovery in the game. I've said that before. You know, my sleep's on point. So I'm just going to continue to do what I do outside of camp, but up the workouts. Now it's time to get in shape. Now I have to peak at a certain date, and I think I have one of the best teams around me. Dan Garner, my nutritionist, Brandon Harris, my strength and conditioning coach. I got great partners at the MMA lab. Tim Welch, trained with Tanquino, one of the best grapplers in the world. I have such a good team around me that now these next 8 weeks is just focused on, beating Pedro. I like to think of myself as a businessman, and sometimes you just want to always be on like a business call or doing something. But the best business move for me these next 8 weeks is to do a lot less of all of that. Yeah. To just no distractions, dial in, lock into training camp, and just prepare my mind for war. That's really what you're doing. Yeah. Going to war for 15 minutes with another trained killer. So I think I'm very, very good at just locking in, doing that. I've over 30 fights. I've had so many fight camps. I've taken something new from every fight camp, and this going into this next fight, it's still 8 weeks out. I want to be healthy. That's the point. You want to be in shape and be healthy. That last fight, I hurt my ribs like 2.5, 3 weeks out, I couldn't grapple. All I did was hit mitts and run. And I went into that fight not even grappling for like 2 or 3 weeks because my rib, I had like a really bad bruised rib, and if anyone's ever had that, it's like you can't even get grabbed. So I went into that fight just knowing like this can't touch me. That was my mindset. He can't grab me. He's not fast enough. He's not in the big cage. I don't like fighting in that small cage.
Yeah.
I like fighting in the big cage, able to move around a lot. And if someone can't get a hold of me and they can't hit me, they can't beat me. And that was that mindset going into that one. So.
I always do this, man. I say it's the last question, but then something comes to mind and listening to you talk. This will be the last question, though. How do you think these guys are looking at you? Like it's been kind of easy for these guys in like the top to kind of dismiss you as like, oh, he's the guy with the hair and he just put on a show against unranked guys. Like, do you think like realistically that you have those guys' attention and they're really curious to see how this fight goes?
That's a really good question. I think we'd have to ask some of them. I think some of them. I would like to say all of them probably. It depends because some aren't high-level strikers. Some people don't get it. Some people don't, like some just wrestlers, they probably see it and they're like, they don't, it's a higher level than they can even comprehend. But anybody that Peter, I guarantee Peter's like, that dude's a problem. You hear Izzy talk, Izzy gives me, credit, respect, and props. He's like, he's got good time, he's got good distance. Because he's a high-level striker. He understands striking. If I'm this long and you can't get to me, and I have good takedown defense and I have good footwork, you just have to hope that I make a mistake. For me, I got to go in there focused for 15 minutes. I can't get lazy. I can't get flat-footed. I have to be on my feet the whole time. So the only way someone's going to beat me is by me making a mistake, and that can happen in fighting, That's why it's so important for these 8 weeks for me to prepare so I can focus. It's like 15 minutes of pure focus. That's where the cold plunge comes in, meditation comes in, what my intentions going into each training session. Like, let's really dial it in and focus on this training session. So I think a lot of these guys know that I am legitimate, and but some of them might not. Some might be just so stupid they might not see it. But I'd say the majority of them see it and they think I'm a problem.
No, I don't know how you guys do it, man. I like listening to you talk about this fight. Like now I want to see it tomorrow. And I'm sure I don't know how you guys do that. Like if you just wait for like 8 weeks for that fight to get.
It's easy because I have to prepare for it. Like if me and Pedro went and fought tomorrow, it might be like, who knows how good a shape he's in. I'm in pretty good shape right now, but I'm not in 15 minutes of focus, pure. I probably could go 15 minutes right now because I've been fighting for so long and I know how to, where to use my energy and stuff, but I want to be able to be 15 minutes explosive. So I'm excited it's 8 weeks. I like that it's 8 weeks. I don't spar outside of camp, so I haven't sparred since my last fight. 8 weeks out, I'm going to start sparring, kickboxing on Wednesdays, MMA on Saturday, and build up correctly to peak July 2nd.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.